Bernard, you were a guy that in your career, you talked a lot of shit with a lot of guys, man. Do you think this stuff has gotten a little bit too personal, though?
I didn't talk a lot of shit. I talked truth. They thought it was shit, but I think it's more of how he feel. We all got opinions. You can agree or disagree. But I think Ryan believes and meant everything he said. And I'm not going to say that he was just talking, and I'm not going to say he wasn't or was. But what I can say on this interview, that if you believe in yourself and then you prove that come Saturday, interviews will be forgotten. They will say quickly,
New York City Cops and Kids, please
he knew what he was doing.
Table. New York City Cops and Kids.
A fighter like yourself who was always super disciplined, never drank, didn't smoke, didn't really party. You was always steadfast, 100% focused.
I never partied.
That's what I
in boxing, yeah.
So does it like kind of bother you to kind of see the approach that Ryan is taking right now?
Well, look at this. Everybody has a different way of being motivated. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, downplaying anything. When I hear people say about other people's style compared to how I was, whether they focus or not, everybody has their own style that works for them. Let's just take Deion Sanders when he was playing. He was considered a hot dog fan, right? You look at even Floyd, everybody didn't like the way he was. Most people, correct? They had nothing to do with his ability. Everybody got their own character. I was the executioner. I was the alien, and then B-Hop.
So pretty much it doesn't bother you what he's doing, basically. He got his own thing that he's doing.
I think it's brilliancy. Because guess who's talking about it? You.
That's a fact.
In your era,
that's a good one.
In your era, it wasn't a lot made about ticket sales, pay-per-views. Today's time, a lot is made about that, and everybody's talking about the lack thereof, quote-unquote, ticket sales. What's your thoughts about that?
Watch it be packed come Saturday. And people will watch it on the zone because you can't help themselves. They want to see a train wreck, most people. Most people, believe it or not, they won't admit it openly. They tune in not to see a safe landing. They won't sell tickets with it. But if you say if it's a possibility of a train wreck, let me give you another example, in case somebody a little slow. If I was selling tickets to an event that had two people thousands of feet up in the air, one had a safety net underneath and the other one didn't, what of those two events ticket sales will sell quicker? The one with the net or the one without the net? We are people of hypocrites about what we say we want, but what we really want to see. A train wreck. So I believe, based on the behavior and the history, that the tickets for the unsafety net underneath that person that's crossing that wire thousands of or hundreds of feet up in the air will be sold out compared to the one with the net underneath, because there's a big risk of achieving something that others think you're crazy, and you have a chance on dying if you fall.
Do you think,
do you understand that, since I help you out a little bit more?
Absolutely.
I can't get no clearer than that.
Absolutely. Because just in your era, you, Roy Jones, when you guys was fighting, nobody talked about pay-per-views, nobody talked about tickets. It was about
They're just like comparing
Anyone
my
else?
legacy
Please give it to the dream, New York City Cops and
to the
Kids,
legacy
and
of
Queens.
last year. I tell people all the time, and I'm not saying this because you listen to this interview. You see Jim Lampley behind you, right? Right here. Listen, no, you see Jim Lampley behind right here.
Voice of
Ask me that question about my era compared to how things is done this era, right? The The social media era wasn't there when Roy Jones and I and Oscar De La Hoya. It's just like looking at the commentating that you hear today. I'm not saying these guys are not good. I'm not saying that these guys are not credible. I'm not saying they don't know what they're talking about. But you cannot match today's conversation that is fed to the public that's watching at home. It's the same conversation
so
that you heard before.
Going to the race
It's totally different.
now. Make away for back.
The difference, whether it's better or worse, is a different debate. I would say back then, in that era of the Jim Lampley's, the Larry Merchant, even the George Foreman, even before that with Al Bernstein, even before that, right, with Howard Cosell, you had and got entertainment along with knowledge before it happened. That's genius. When you can look at a fight that never boxed yourself, but understand the sweet science and understand what normally comes after that punch, and if he did or she didn't do this, do that in the next couple of rounds, then that will happen to that person. And boy, Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant and all of them will look great when that happens the next round. So now they are teaching the public what need to be done and also predicting and taking a chance on calling it before it happened. Don't you know that when you sit in there calling something before it happens and then it happens, it look like a genius, don't you? Because you tell the people at home that the right hand is going to eventually be the one that in the show. And guess what in the show? It's credibility. There's no credibility to that.
Before
You got to be battle tested.
Before you go, at least stylistically, do you think Devin would be a more difficult fight for Ryan?
Who?
Do you think Devin would be a more difficult fight for Ryan as opposed to Gervonta Davis? Just stylistically, from your view.
In what way?
Well, that's what
Like,
I'm
let me
asking
ask you a question. What, and I'm asking you, what skill level that you see that Devin Haney has to give Ryan trouble? Take the social media out, that he's not mentally ready, he's not he's not distracted by anything. Take that out. What do you see that Ryan Garcia needs to be worried about by Devin Haney?
What are you talking about in comparison to Gervonta Davis?
No, I ain't talking about Davis.
So,
Come on, man.
Because that was the actual question.
No, you didn't say Davis.
No, I did. I said the question was, do you think that Devin Haney will give Ryan Garcia more issues than Gervonta Davis? That was the question, actually.
I'm saying to you, what do you see that Devin Haney will give Ryan Garcia problems? That's what you say.
A strong jab, good footwork.
I'll make sure I tell Ryan.
Thank you, B. Out.